egg is covered in. I'll put my sorbet base in. Set my egg in there. And I need to see how much of the egg I can see. Alright? The general rule of thumb is that if you saw anywhere from a dime to a quarter, then your sorbet was pretty balanced and it would freeze up nicely inside the machine, okay? But the whole notion was if the egg would sink down into your base, then you had too much water in it, okay? And more than likely, your sorbet was going to turn out to be icy, okay? If the egg sat up too much, then it was too dense. You had too much sugar in it. If it has too much sugar in it, it's not going to freeze. All right, kind of like alcohol. You put too much alcohol into a recipe, it's not going to freeze. Okay, so that was your egg drop test. And I mean, you could press on it, and the buoyancy of the egg would still make it come back to the surface.
So if you had any one of those situations, what would you do?
If your egg sinks down, all right, you got too much water, or the water content is higher, what you would have to do is add a little more sugar into it to help bring it back, or syrup, to help bring it back to the surface. If you drop the egg in there and more than half the egg is showing, then you've got too much sugar, it's too dense, and you need to thin it out with some water to help it sink down. It's all about balance here, okay? And a lot of times that's what gets your sorbet ice cream consumers is the balance. You know, we talked about how Ben and Jerry, yeah, that's a raw egg. Ben and Jerry, you know, the heavy cream that they use, the milk fat, helps create the texture, all right? But Haagen-Dazs is pretty much known for their sorbet concept, you know, their sorbets, okay? And they have nice creamy texture, they're smooth, the flavor's good, the whole nine. But it's a balance. They have to find the right balance. Okay? Anybody a Haagen-Dazs consumer?
It's been a couple of years.
Does anybody know what Haagen-Dazs means?
No.
It's German, isn't it?
I don't know.
Oh, sweet.
Is it milk and eggs? No.
What's that? What do you mean?
It means absolutely nothing.
Pretty good.
That's a trick question.
The people who designed and made it up needed something to catch it. So that's what they created the Haagen-Dazs. It means absolutely nothing.
So it's from no nationality or
It's German. I want to say it's not German. It's Swedish. Yeah.
That's the next best thing.
It's Swedish.
Yeah.
But it means absolutely nothing at all. I've heard people say, oh, it means no, it means nothing. All right. So this will be our sorbet that we're going to freeze for tomorrow. All right. And you'll have, you know, everybody should be able to have a scoop, a couple of scoops of it. All right. Keep in mind that there's no stabilizer here. Now, I didn't talk about stabilizers before because a lot of times you don't really get into it, but for those of you that know or want to know, stabilizers are gelatin that will help hold and preserve your product. The thing about it is that a lot of times if you have some form of dietary restriction, a lot of times people don't realize that your ice creams and sorbets have stabilizers in them, okay? So the whole notion, if you don't know, that stabilizers come from animals. Generally, most gelatin is made from one or two things. It's either goat or horse poop, all right?
Say it again?
It's either goat or horse poop.
Really?
Yeah.
Every point.
No.
Every point.
Well, the thing about it is, that's why a lot of times I try to make sure, that's a part of being in this industry, ladies and gentlemen. A lot of times you all don't know what you're consuming. And you know, you get into school, and that's when you finally learn and you hear about it. And a lot of times you're not real crazy about what you hear. All right. Part of my schooling was I went to a gelatin factory, and it was probably the worst smelling thing. You ever been to a slaughterhouse? Yeah. Pretty close. Almost. Only the gelatin factory is worse. Okay. I mean, there's a couple of them in France, but that's what's being processed. Okay. That's because of the bone marrow.
Yeah.
The bone marrow is turned into gelatin powder. Okay. And the stock. Think about what you're doing with the stock. What are you using for veal stock?
Marrow.
The bone, cartilage, marrow. And that's what veal stock is made of. So it's turned into gelatin powder, gelatin cheese. Okay.
It's funny how you talk to people, I don't eat pork, I don't eat this, I don't eat that.
Yeah.
I know
A lot of times they don't know.
Well, then you got most people who look on the package for gluten,
Right.
gelatin.
Some people will look for it, but a lot of people won't. So that's why I try and enlighten you all about every aspect of it, because you honestly may not know. And I'm not trying to be funny or pull one over anybody, but you know, if you are of a certain faith or you do have some form of dietary restriction, a lot of times you didn't know. In order for those ice creams and sorbets to hold up, they have to have some form of stabilizer in it. Otherwise, companies will go broke. So today's life lesson, just so you know. All right. So two wheels. All right. What I want to do is I'm going to show you how they're going to bake up, and I'm going to plate up. These aren't the best silk packs, but they push it through. I'm going to finish later. Spatula can stay in there. It's not really good. A lot of times, like I said, real world. That's what I'll do. All right. All right. So. Oh yeah.
You usually hold me, zoomed out.
To be turned black and white is not mean that.
It does get a gray tone to it.
Fade out.
How much more?
That's about it.
I might do a modified series. Alright. Well, I'm gonna do the twills for you. I'm gonna show you the twills. Alright. So what I'm gonna do, this is your stencil twirl. I'm gonna see if this is gonna work. I'm gonna put a little bit. I'm try and do a couple of them. This is your stencil wheel. Alright. So, inside the piping bag, I'm just going to cut a small piece off the end.
The very tip.
What's that?
The very tip.
The very tip. Alright. And what I'm going to do, what's that? You can, yeah. You grab me 2 full sheet pans. Alright, so I'm going to pipe out a couple of lines.
It's not the 80s.
Alright.
No bigger.
Alright, not too big. I'm going to leave that there. Then, I'll show you, take a little bit. Smear them around. Try and do some nice circles, not too thick.
I take it these are non-stick.
These are still packed, nothing sticks to them. All right. Like so.
What would you use at home if you don't have those, my buddy would say?
You don't have silk pack? You can use wax paper. Wax paper.
Oh, just spray that.
The
with
thing is
anything?
now you can buy parchment paper anywhere. You know what used to be wax paper is now parchment paper. You know, I grew up. I'm sure you thought it was wax paper. Yeah. Yeah, wax paper is still sold. But a lot of times, I try and tell you, you know, you go into, a lot of you all know there's a place called Cake Art down the street on Lawrenceville Highway that sells a lot of baking and pastry things for, you know, caterers, if you're a caterer. A lot of stuff is sold in that place. It's owned by two former pastry chefs that were in the business for a long time, Bill and Teresa. They give you a discount because you're a student. All right. So, my idea is that the straight lines, once they bake off, I'm not, like I said, I'm not sure how much this is going to spread. But once they come out, what I'm going to do is I'll wrap them around the back of the spoon and turn them into corkscrews. With the rounds, my intention is to turn them into fortune cookies. Okay? As soon as they come out. All right. So I'm gonna slide these on here, like so. Crawford, drop those in the bottom of it, or drop them in that third of it. That should be good. All right. Generally with the twills, we do somewhere in the 325 range. All right. Now with your lace cookies, I'm gonna try something similar but a little different with them.
Same batter, different batter.
This is the lace twirl. All right. So with the lace twirl, what I think we might do is I might turn this into let's see, taco. Maybe we'll turn it into a taco.
Like a chocolate taco.
Yes. Yep. All right. So I'll put a small amount here. Now, with the nut lace wheels, generally with any recipe, no matter what, it will spread, and it'll spread pretty far. So I'm going to keep this pretty close in.
So you want it flat, you don't want it with a ball.
You could do it either way. If it's in a ball, it just takes longer for it to come
Let it
down.
out.
Shake that when it comes down.
Yes. Once again, it's going to be you're going to have to, you know, you got to work fast with it. This will probably give you a little bit more leeway. All right. The thing about this, the lace wheel, is that because of the amount of melted butter, the amount of fat, it's going to be hotter. As crazy as that may sound.
You heard that, Lauren?
It's gonna be cold when it come out.
Ice.
All right.
I can do it for us.
I got a bridge to sell you.
And I'll tell you what, I'll do one, man.
In the
I'll do
corner.
one a little bigger.
You got it,
All right. I'll do one a little bigger, and I'll show you. All right. Now, the temp on that for your nut lace wheel tells you what? Does it say?
3325.
All right. So same, about the same. All right. So Crawford, I'm gonna tell you to put this in the second oven. Yeah, I think I got them all pretty much set the same way. All right.
What is the,
Cannolis? Cannolis are generally made of a squeal, somewhere in the same way on one of them.
So you can take those where they're rolled up like that and fill it.
Yep. All right. All right, so whatever we don't use, we put back. All right. All right, throw those back in there. Yeah, if you use them with just on like you can, like I said, you can, you'll have a hard time trying to get them to come off. That's the problem. They're generally, they have to be made on something, otherwise they won't come off. All right. All right, so let's cut up some cheesecake. And now,
No,
let me,
sorry.
sorry. Resend it here.
Now, with the strawberry jam for our devil cake, can we kind of puree it a little bit more and line it up and put it on our cheesecake?
The strawberry jam?
Yeah,
You said do what to it?
kind of thin it out a little bit, put it in a pastry bag and put it on our cheesecake.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, you can thin it out, actually.
Put it in like a syrup, thin it out a little bit.
All right, so, ganache, you made up that batch of ganache, Mr. Bowman? It is a lot of Shiloh, and it's rich too. All right. It's actually pretty good.
You got small kids that want to have it?
No, this is when you give it to nieces and nephews or grandkids. Yeah.
Yeah.
Trick or treat, here you go.
All right, so this is actually a good consistency for it. Okay. It was in hot water, and then we let it come off and we let it sit for a minute. So with your glazing, all right, Mr. Crawford, you said this is rich, right? And he's right, it is.
That looks nice.
Oh, white pepper. Very good.
That looks good.
Yeah.
Is that industry size? That's about the size?
It is. No, this is actually what I use as well.
Then we set this in the cooler to let it
We're
firm
gonna
up.
let it firm up right now.
Okay.
All right. So, a couple of things to keep in mind. Do me a favor, keep an eye on it. When it's golden brown, let me know. Okay. All right. So I put the. You can do this a couple of ways, ladies and gentlemen. I put parchment down. All right, to catch the glaze because what? We can recycle it. All right. You can also recently, I started doing it a little differently. I put plastic wrap. I spray my pan. I smooth out plastic wrap on there. Once I'm done glazing, I can scrape it down and then put it back in the container. The glaze we reuse and we reuse and we reuse. Okay. Generally, when these come out of the freezer is when we glaze them. Okay. I let it sit for a while. I know it's not going to do anything. All right, so it's fine. I let it sit for a minute. General rule of thumb is we tap it. You can see if it's still moving or not. Set it in a new spot, okay, and it's fine. It's actually a pretty good glaze. It sets up right away. So, like I said, this is your profit for your business, as always. All right, you take it back. If by chance, you know, and it does happen, you are glazing something and it bleeds, meaning that some of your mousse comes off or you get some crumbs in it or whatever, all you have to do is run this through a china cap, okay, and you're fine. You save it. You always save it, okay? So we're actually doing pretty good.
That's what you give the kids if they lick the bowl.
Yeah, and the thing is, you know, you said it's got, you're looking at chocolate mousse on flour with cake with chocolate glaze. Caffeine cubes, all right, so. All right, so I'm gonna set that there.
The things you learn when you start, you know.
You can use it as a nod, somebody.
Yeah, you can use it in nacho like.
And now you know how to make it yourself, right?
All right, so now, portions. This is always my favorite. This is your plate, ladies and gentlemen, your design, however you know, whatever. But I always try to make sure that you keep in mind and stand by what you're saying. Oh man, this is rich. You do not need to be making some huge portion size. And I think all of you realize that, okay? So you want to make just enough for service. Think about when you're eating dessert. A lot of times you're eating dessert after you've had, what, some huge meal, all right? The whole purpose of you going out to eat, generally, depending on who you are, is to eat, right? All right, so keep that in mind. I myself, I go out, I got no problem saying a lot of times I think about what dessert I'm having, that's where we're going, all right? It's the end of the meal. So I'm going to whip up a little bit of cream. A little bit of sugar, all right? All right, you whip up your cream. Keep in mind, you do not want, you all know the spiel, you let the cream go too far, it turns into butter. All right?
About 15 minutes though.
Tight wheels.
Dr. Myers not coming tomorrow. So watch Myers not come tomorrow.
You like that, wouldn't you?
I would. Works out for you.
I think she can jump in with this.
Oh, no.
Half the cheesecake.
I'm gonna make my own cheesecake. I sure would take on
The
the
line's giving, what's your showcase on? Line's cooking fast.
All right, so proper holding out the towel.
Was the cameraman cool enough?
Yeah. And then, like I said, at the same token, I wasn't sure about this recipe. So this is, it's not just new to you, it's new to me as well. What I may have you do,
You know the recipe? Cooling down.
yeah, it's cooling down really fast.
So they need to,
Yeah.
they may need to stay, come at the oven quick.
Well, the thing about it is, a lot of times, I can't tell what,
You could use that as a garnish. The little ones you swirled already halfway through.
because I know if I can't wrap those around, then I can't wrap the other ones around.
So you can cut some on a bias and stick it up out of it, you know.
No, that's fine. I got an idea. I know how to remedy it.
Excuse me.
I can remedy it.
Or ice cream cone.
Well, that's what he said about the top is.
A lot of times it needs pliability, okay? It just needs pliability, and the thing is, what's that? So I just have to see, what I can work with.